you feel the pulse of 1,000 small anxieties in your chest. They're the low static of waking up to bills, decisions, relationships, the way your voice shakes when you speak your truth. Now breathe. The sentence you hold in your mouth, Lord, remove fear from my heart and fill me with power, love, and sound mind, is not a magic phrase that erases every problem. It's a posture, a prayer, a claim you make about who you are and who you want to become. Today's piece is for the times you're standing at a threshold, when fear is loud and courage seems thin. This is a guided, spoken map. How to invite power, love, and a sound mind into the ordinary, messy business of living. Start here. Fear is not the enemy you think it is. It's a messenger. It shows up as tight shoulders, a racing heart, or the small voice that says, "What if?" The problem isn't that you feel fear, every human does, but that fear often moves first, and you live reactive. The prayer from 2 Timothy is an invitation to change the order of things. Instead of fear leading, you ask for power, love, and sound mind to be the leaders of your life. Imagine rearranging furniture in a room. You're not denying the walls, you're changing the view. Let's break down the 3 gifts you ask for. First, power. Power here is not about control over others or a hardened ego. It's a steady internal energy that lets you act instead of freeze. Picture a lighthouse. When waves crash and the sky goes black, the lighthouse doesn't get louder or angrier, it just shines. Power that replaces fear is that persistent light. It's the confidence you build through small, consistent choices. Showing up, speaking when it matters, doing the thing you dread for 5 minutes so your fear loses its territory. You cultivate power by practice. When you heave that one difficult conversation out of your chest, that's a rep. When you complete a project that terrified you, that's a rep. Over time, these reps create a nervous system that trusts itself. Second, love. Love softens and centers. It's both the motivation and the medicine. Love keeps power from hardening into dominance or cynicism. Consider love as the soil in which power and sound mind grow. Love is gentle curiosity when someone angers you, compassion toward your own mistakes, and the capacity to prioritize connection over being right. It also reframes fear. When you are grounded in love, fear becomes a signal, not a sentence. Instead of proclaiming why you can't speak up, you notice how fear indicates what you most care about, your reputation, your family, your values, and you let love reorient your action. Love fuels courage because courage is most often choosing what matters, despite the fear. Third, a sound mind. This phrase is practical. It means clear thinking, steady attention, and emotional regulation. A sound mind is like a well-tuned instrument. It doesn't eliminate sound, thoughts, feelings, distractions still appear, but it allows you to play instead of being played. You train a sound mind by building habits that stabilize your thinking. Sleep, routine, reflection, and boundaries are not glamorous, but they're the scaffolding that supports every bold move. A sound mind notices intrusive, catastrophic thoughts. I'll fail, everyone will laugh, and responds with fact-checking questions. What's the evidence? What's the worst realistic outcome? What resources do I have? That cognitive clarity turns fear's volume down. Put those 3 together, power, love, and sound mind, and you create a context where fear loses its veto. It's not gone. Fear becomes a modest advisor, not the CEO. Imagine being in a meeting with fear offering its input. That's risky. And power, love, and sound mind, listening and weighing it. Power assessing capability. Love considering relationships and motives. Sound mind evaluating logic and consequence. The decision then comes from aligned wisdom rather than a single trembling note. Now, how do you make this prayer practical? How do you habitually move from pleading to living this reality? There are tangible steps, accessible to anyone, that translate spiritual intention into daily muscle memory. Step 1. Name the fear. Put words to what's vague and large. I'm afraid of being humiliated. I'm afraid of losing security. Naming does 2 things. It shrinks the shadow and clarifies the target. The Christian tradition calls naming a form of confession, not as defeat but as clarity. When you say it out loud, you stop giving fear the anonymity that feeds its power. Step 2. Rewrite the inner script. Counter the fearful sentence with the prayer's 3 claims. Replace "I can't" with "I have power to try." Replace "they'll reject me" with "I'm rooted in love that values me." Replace "I'm losing my mind" with "my mind can be sound, I will take practical steps." Repetition matters. You're not conjuring by chanting, you are retraining neural paths. Speak kindly, precisely, and often. Step 3. Practice micro-discipline. Courage often looks like tiny habits. making the call you avoid, setting a boundary in one conversation, waking 30 minutes earlier to plan your day. Power grows from these micro wins. Love grows from practicing kindness and accountability. A sound mind grows from sleep and reflection. These disciplines don't eliminate risk. They build your capacity to meet it. Step 4. Anchor in ritual. Ritual is a short, intentional action that signals your brain you're aligning with something larger. Prayer, breathwork, a simple grounding phrase. Lord, remove fear from my heart and fill me with power, love, and sound mind. Spoken at the start of a stressful task is a ritual. It doesn't bypass effort, it clarifies intent and steadies the nervous system. Use the ritual consistently, and it will become a touchstone. Let's talk about relational practices. Because fear is social. When you're honest with a friend, I'm anxious about this, you loosen the pressure. Vulnerability does two things. It builds intimacy and disarms shame, which often fuels fear. Love asks for vulnerability. Power asks for truth. A sound mind asks for feedback. Together, these practices create communities where fear is named, not amplified. There will be setbacks. You'll pray and still tremble. That's normal. The story isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Each time fear wins a skirmish, reflect with curiosity, not condemnation. Ask, what did I do? What helped? What hindered? Was I sleep deprived? Did I skip the grounding ritual? Learning from setbacks is how your muscle memory improves. Grace is part of the process. If the prayer feels empty some days, keep saying it. Simpler prayers repeated knit belief into behavior. Now, sensory grounding. When fear rises in your body, anchor yourself with the senses. Feel the soles of your feet. Notice the weight of your body in the chair. Name 3 sounds you hear. If your heartbeat is loud, place your hand on your chest and breathe in for 4 counts. Hold 2, breathe out for 6. This interrupts physiological panic and invites the sound mind back. Combine sensory grounding with the prayer phrase and you create a new conditioned response. Fear rings an alarm, you breathe, you speak the prayer, and your nervous system remembers it's safe enough to act. Integrating love looks like intentional kindness toward yourself and others. When you fail, offer yourself the same grace you'd give someone you adore. When someone pushes your buttons, ask curiosity questions rather than launching into defense. Love is not passive. It often requires calibrated strength. Speaking truth tenderly, saying no to protect your time, holding boundaries without rancor. That's the paradox. The softer you become in love, the more resilient your power. Power is clarified through purpose. Ask yourself, what are you stewarding? Family, craft, calling? Make a short list of non-negotiables, 3 to 5 things you protect. Anchor decisions to those non-negotiables. Power without purpose can become tyrannical. Power with purpose becomes faithful stewardship. A sound mind is cultivated through reflection. End each day with a short inventory. What worked, what didn't, who did I bless, and who blessed me? This daily bookkeeping trains attention toward growth and away from rumination. It's simple and steady, like brushing your teeth for mental hygiene. Imagine a moment where this prayer has taken root. You're about to speak in public. Your mouth is dry, your palms sweat. The old script is frantic. Don't fail, don't embarrass yourself. You say the prayer quietly, Lord, remove fear from my heart and fill me with power, love, and sound mind. And you also name the fear, do a quick breath cycle, and recall the purpose that brought you there, to help, to teach, to connect. You step forward with a heart that's steadier, a voice that's clearer, and a posture of love that invites the room in. The performance isn't perfect, but it's alive and honest. That's the point. Finally, remember this is not loneliness work. Invite others. Find someone you trust and say, help me practice this. Accountability is not judgment, it's a shared effort to grow into the confession you make. So return to the phrase as a daily map. Lord, remove fear from my heart and fill me with power, love, and sound mind. Use it as a lens, notice fear, invite power, practice love, and steady your mind. Make small choices that accumulate into a life where fear informs but does not command. Let rituals and routines anchor you. Name setbacks as data, not identity. Love people hard, and speak truth firmly. Choose your protégés, your daily non-negotiables, and let them govern small decisions so big ones become easier. In the end, this prayer reshapes not only your reactions but your identity. You start to talk to yourself as someone who has power to act, loves well, and thinks clearly. That identity changes how you show up. Fear still visits. Some nights it sits at the table, but it knows its place. It has a seat, not the throne. Take a breath. Say the words if you need to, and then move one brave step.